Thank you very much. It adds to a list of similar elections that have held in the past. Is the fourth one, and the conduct of elections, the way in which the election is conducted, has improved since then. But generally, the same cannot be said. That kind of improvement cannot be said about the everyday governance and political landscape in the country, which is kind of polarized and dominated by, clan narratives, which is divisive in nature. So in general, it portrays Somaliland in a very, generous and development-oriented or democracy-oriented entity. But these are the problems and the challenges it needs to overcome.
But a lot of people will say that Somaliland has been relatively stable, more than Somalia itself and some of the neighboring countries. And why would global organizations like the United Nations, for example, the African Union, and other powerful nations fail to recognize Somaliland as an independent nation, given that it has been stable for more than 3 decades now, if you compare that to what we see even in Somalia itself?
Yes, that's the case. Somaliland has performed quite well compared to the neighboring countries, including Ethiopia and Djibouti. But the problem is the United Nations by itself is not an organization that has the authority, to grant an international recognition by itself. It relies on the member states, willingness to do so. And it seems that Somaliland has not successfully convinced these member states, including the powerful ones, the US and the European, members, to recognize it. And I don't think whether it's offering anything that kind of strategically aligns with their interests in the region, both economically and security-wise. And the AU, of course, is always the elephant in the room. It's difficult to get a recognition for an African country without first convincing the African Union, which is the overarching body for the continent on matters on international recognition.
And very quickly, Tahir, how does that lack of national recognition, that impact Somaliland's ability to participate in global forums?
It impacts Somaliland in very significant ways. For instance, if you look at Somalilanders have their own passport, but that passport is not internationally recognized by most countries in the world. So it needs the Somali passports, and most people travel to Mogadishu to get that passport. Another area is the country code. For instance, Somaliland still uses the country code of Somalia. So Somalia has a significant control over its communication systems. The third one is the airspace as well. Somalia has one airspace, and that airspace is controlled from Mogadishu. And perhaps maybe the last one, it also significantly influences the aid distribution, because most of the countries that are giving aid to Somalia recognize the authorities in Mogadishu as the de jure authority in the country, and they deal with it. So it has some
Right.
influences in who to give aid and assistance.